Let's dive right in. Ticking away inside every single one of us is this hidden, incredibly powerful clock. And it's not just for telling time, not at all. It's really the master conductor of our daily lives, and it governs pretty much everything from our energy to our health. So today, we're going to explore the fascinating science behind your body's 24-hour rhythm.
Think about it for a second. Ever feel that afternoon slump hit you like a ton of bricks right around 3 p.m.? Or maybe you get that weird second wind just when you're supposed to be winding down for bed. Well, that's not just a coincidence. That is your internal clock at work, and honestly, understanding it is a huge key to understanding yourself.
So what do we actually call this internal clock? Well, the scientific term is your circadian rhythm. It's basically this repeating 24-hour cycle of physical, mental, and even behavioral changes that almost all living things go through. And I want to be clear, this isn't just about sleep. We're talking about hormone release, your appetite, your body temperature, you name it.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to meet the mission control for this whole system inside your brain. Then, we'll get into how light, of all things, really controls your day. After that, we'll take a deep dive into what happens when you sleep, what goes wrong when your clock is broken, and most importantly, how to get it all back in sync.
Okay, let's get into it. Section 1, your 24-hour master clock. It's time to meet the command center, the mission control running the show from inside your brain. What's so wild is that this isn't just one clock. It's a whole network of them. Pretty much every tissue and organ in your body, think your liver, your lungs, your muscles, they all have their own little local clock. Now, to stop that from becoming total chaos, they're all coordinated by one central master clock. And that master clock, it has a name. It's a bit of a mouthful. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, or just SCN for short. It's this tiny little cluster, only about 20,000 nerve cells, tucked away in a part of the brain called the hypothalamus. And this is the central command that syncs up all those other clocks, making sure everybody is on the same schedule.
A really great way to picture how the SCN works is to imagine your body is a 24-hour factory. So during the day, the production lines are fired up, making all the energy you need. But at night, the SCN switches gears. It's like it calls in the cleaning and maintenance crews to handle things like DNA repair and storing memories, basically getting the whole factory ready for the next day. It's a remarkably efficient system when you think about it.
So the big question is, what controls this master clock? Well, that brings us right to section 2, how light controls your day. Because if the SCN is the clock, then the sun is its ultimate reset button. So how does this daily reset actually happen? Well, it all starts the moment light enters your eyes and hits these very special cells in your retina. And get this, these cells aren't for seeing, they're for time telling. They send a direct signal, kind of like a dedicated hotline, straight to your SCN. The SCN gets the message and immediately tells your pineal gland, hey, stop making that sleep hormone, melatonin. And at the very same time, your cortisol levels start to rise, giving you that jolt of alertness and energy to get your day started. Now here's a super important detail. Those special cells in your eyes, they are most sensitive to a very specific kind of light, blue light, right around the 460 nanometer wavelength. And this is the exact reason why staring at your phone or your laptop late at night is so bad for your sleep. Your brain literally sees that blue light and thinks, oh, it must be morning. It completely confuses your master clock and shuts down melatonin production right when you need it the most. And if we zoom in, like way down to the molecular level, we can actually see the gears of the clock. This is the amazing Nobel Prize-winning discovery of something called the PER protein. The best way to think about it is like a thermostat. See, the PER protein builds up all night, and once it gets to a high enough level, it switches off its own production. Then, during the day, it breaks down, which allows the gene to switch back on and start the process all over again. It's this beautiful, elegant cycle that keeps time inside every single cell. Okay, so your body's been told it's nighttime, and it's getting ready for bed. But what really happens when you finally close your eyes? Let's dive into Section 3, the journey into sleep. This is the secret world your brain enters every single night. A lot of people think sleep is just this passive state. You just kind of switch off for 8 hours. But that could not be further from the truth. Your brain is incredibly active, and it cycles through these very distinct stages, each one with its own unique job to do.
So here's what one of those cycles looks like. It usually lasts about 90 to 110 minutes. First, you drift off into stage 1, a really light sleep. Then you move into stage 2, which is a bit deeper, and that's where your brain starts consolidating memories. After that, you hit stage 3, deep sleep, which is critical for physical repair. And finally, you enter REM sleep. It's called paradoxical sleep because your brain looks like it's wide awake, but your body's totally paralyzed. This is where your most vivid dreams happen, and you'll repeat this whole cycle about 4 to 5 times a night.
So let's just quickly compare the two most famous stages. In deep sleep, your brain is super quiet. Your body is relaxed. This is all about physical restoration. But in REM sleep, your brain is buzzing, processing memories and emotions while your body is completely still. They are two totally different worlds, and you absolutely need both to be healthy.
So you can see this is a very finely tuned system. But what happens when we throw a wrench in the gears? Well, let's get into Section 4, when your clock is broken, and talk about the very real health costs of living out of sync.
In our modern world, man, it is so easy to mess up this ancient clock. The usual suspects are all around us. Jet lag from travel, shift work that forces you to work against the sun, all that artificial light from our devices, chronic stress, even just having a really inconsistent sleep schedule.
And the consequences of this, they go way beyond just feeling a little groggy the next day. This is the crucial takeaway. Long-term, chronic disruption isn't just about being tired. It is a major stress on your body, and it is directly linked to an increased risk of some really serious health problems.
And here are just a few of those major risks. We're talking about metabolic problems like obesity and diabetes because your body literally doesn't know the right time to process food. Cardiovascular issues like high blood pressure. And it even impacts your mind, leading to mood disorders like depression and anxiety. This is not a small thing. It really does affect your entire system.
Okay, I know that sounds pretty serious, but here's the really good news. You have a ton of power to fix it. So let's move into our final section, syncing your inner rhythm. These are simple but powerful steps you can take to reset your master clock.
Here are 4 of the absolute best habits you can build. First, and this is the big one, maintain a consistent schedule. Try to go to bed and wake up around the same time every day, and yes, that includes weekends. Second, get bright, natural light in the morning, as soon as you can. Third, do the exact opposite at night. Dim your lights and avoid those bright screens for an hour or 2 before bed. And finally, be smart about exercise. It's great for your clock, but try to avoid really intense workouts right before you want to sleep.
So all of this brings us to a final thought. Our biology is ancient, right? It was designed for a world of sunrises and sunsets. But we live in this crazy world of 24/7 artificial light and constant connection, which raises a really interesting question. In this modern world, is learning to master your ancient inner clock the ultimate modern superpower for your health and well-being?